our regular panel here, Ruthie Wyburn in the middle there, and Kimberly Johnson. So I assume we have all survived Thanksgiving, or we would either be in the bed still or just not here, right? Did all of y'all have a good Thanksgiving? Let's talk about it. Let's just talk about that for a few minutes. Momo.
I had a very nice Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Ate way too much. Had of course here with family, and then with my dad's family, they decided to go to Indian powwow this Thanksgiving, and had the RV parked up on a wildlife reserve here in, well, it was actually in Alabama, not here in Florida. And that was really neat. Have a cute little story about my son, and
Yeah, tell it. It's adorable.
he decided to follow in his dad and his grandpa's footsteps and scare all the other people. And my dad kept listening because you could hear animal noises. And so my son thought it was funny to make the animal noises and try and scare people. And he crouched down behind a table and went, cricket, cricket, cricket. Of course, I laughed so hard I couldn't breathe. It was just funny.
Yeah.
Kids are cute. But we had a very nice one, very relaxing. And then my kids actually stayed with my parents a couple days. So my husband and I got to, just be husband and wife and just us for a couple days.
I was curious. I forget. What'd you do when the kids were gone?
Watched some TV, hung out. Had to do a little, well, we didn't like Christmas shop, but we, kind of took care of some errands and
Nice.
just hung out, spent time together.
Good. Ruthie?
I had it with all my other two sisters. First time the three sisters has been together since before I got married, and that's been a long time ago. So, so that was really nice. And then the one sister and her daughter, they came over from Alabama, and she wanted to go shopping, so we went to Kmart.
Oh.
And I planned on stopping at a couple of places after Thanksgiving dinner, and I didn't get home till 4:45, so I didn't stop anywhere. But it was fun. It was a fun day. It's something we don't get to do together very often, and it was just really a fun day. So,
Very good. And Kimberly?
Oh, we had a really nice time. We had dinner here with the family, and we went home and had our traditional Thanksgiving nap.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That's the only thing I missed.
It was nice to have Rick off and have him be real relaxed and not have to be stressed and rushed. It was a really nice day.
Yeah, that sounds great. Something's getting ready to go.
Imagine.
I mean, it was like they didn't hear it to start with, Wow. Okay. Men's ears
Trip
are
to
different.
Still working on it.
I guess. Oh, it must have been yours. Well, I was so looking forward to the traditional Thanksgiving nap for, many hours, and it didn't happen. I had got 3 hours of sleep the night before Thanksgiving,
Oh, my goodness.
and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I'll eat a whole bunch and just pass out, and then wake up, hours later, couldn't sleep, and it was just disappointing. I had a disappointing things.
Yeah.
Other than, being with family and, having that fun, but I really wanted that good nap.
We pulled up in front of the fire there after dinner at my dad's, out there at the RV in the wildlife reservation or preserve or whatever they called that particular place we're at. And I had the chair that reclined back and the feet were up, and I was like, oh, this might be dangerous. Might think you hear a bear in a few minutes.
Well, our family had actually a death in the family. I guess it was Monday, which was actually my husband's birthday. But we got a call from Virginia that my cousin Ted died, and so it was sad. Some family members got to go and to the funeral in Virginia, but we didn't go because we had just been last month, I guess. And it was sad because when we were there, we tried to see him and we couldn't get a hold of him. And then finally tracked him down, and his wife had called, but I guess we were going around the mountain or whatever, and it didn't pick up until I got home and I heard the voicemail. And so that was sad. I felt sad that we didn't get to talk to him and see him. And then, of course, my father-in-law, he was not here this year, and my kitty cat, Coco, was sad. But you know what? We have so much to be thankful for, and I hate to just gloss over Thanksgiving, and everybody's so excited for Christmas, but Thanksgiving really is, to me, the holiday that we need to focus a lot on too. We don't need just to, let it be just a little speed bump and keep going. So
Right.
I hope everyone feels that way, and it's something we're going to work on, I think, over the years to come.
And everybody doesn't have the same Thanksgiving traditions. Like my oldest daughter, that's her day. And she cooks a turkey breast and a couple of sides, and that's their Thanksgiving dinner. And she usually spends the morning doing whatever she likes to do, cleaning or her favorite things anyway. And her husband goes hunting. And then she said he came home and they had dinner and he went hunting again. And when she talked to me Saturday, I believe it was, he was out hunting that day too, but they only had 2 more days of the hunting season. But
yeah.
and he does this, but she just really, and she was invited 2 different places, and she said, nope, I'm staying home. I don't go out on Thanksgiving Day. That's my day to stay home and do my thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that
Nice.
she does that,
Yeah.
she doesn't have to fix this great big dinner and everything like everybody else does. But she does her own thing.
I like that. Yeah, she does. She is
Yes.
the kind of woman that does her own thing, which you have to admire. But there's so many traditions, and we don't need to look at somebody else's tradition and say that's kind of weird. Like if I said, oh, that's weird, but that's not weird. That's her
That's-
tradition.
yeah.
Like in Virginia, on Thanksgiving Day, that's when they kill the hogs. That's the hog killing day. It sounds sad, but that's what they do on Thanksgiving. Sorry.
It
Any-
sounds like bacon to me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does. Nice
Well,
big
in
ham.
the Northwest, Thanksgiving is right toward the end of the hunting season, and a lot of them go out and camp. They leave like on Wednesday and they camp till Sunday out in the woods. So people's Thanksgivings are different, and that's good.
It is good. It is
Right.
good.
Yeah, that's good.
Speaking of Virginia, Thanksgiving evening, my husband and my mother-in-law went to our aunt and uncle's house and talked about family things and traditions and stuff. And my uncle reminded me that I had, obviously 2 great-grandmothers on my dad's side. And one was mean and one was nice. And I didn't know these 2 women, but stories to the family and stuff. But my uncle would sort of aggravate the mean one for whatever reason. Like he knew that she walked a certain way to the well every day, and so he went to the bathroom in the path because he knew she would go, at the break of dawn or whatever. And so he would just do all kind of things to aggravate her. And but she was mean. What you call a mean person, I guess. And they lived side by side, the mean grandma, great grandma, and the nice great grandma. And my uncle reminded me that the nice great grandma, every night before she went to bed, even though the mean great grandma hated the whole other side of the family, the first person that she would call out their name in prayer was the mean grandma. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a great example.
Right.
Of kind of a person to be. I mean, that is awesome that the person that is the meanest to you, if we can let that be the first name that we call out in prayer, or we are reminded of that we want good things to happen for, and wouldn't the world be so different?
Yes.
I really think so. And so when he said that, I just, I got the cold chills, and I said, wow, maybe I need to start being more like, my great grandma. And so I don't really have any horribly mean people in my life, but even people that do wrong to people I love, that's where it gets me.
Yeah.
You can be mean to me, and I can let that run off my back like a duck's back. But when you're mean to somebody I love, that's I need the help there to try to get myself controlled.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially like if your kids, or being picked on or something, a mother just, or if your daughter-in-law or, family, friends, you just want to try to protect them. But the best thing to do is be that good example for them.
Right.
And so I fail there a lot, but I'm certainly trying, and I'm gonna keep trying until I get it right. But tonight, whenever, if you say prayers at night, fine. If you don't, that's your business. But just call out that person in your life that they're really giving you the what for, or aggravates you. Just call their name out in prayer to the Lord and say, I want you to know I'm thinking about this person.
Right.
And to me, prayer is more for us anyway.
Yeah.
It is.
Right.
I mean, it's not like I'm going to pray. We always talk about this. To me, prayer is so confusing. If you think half the town's going to pray for, the hurricane to go here, another half's going to, God, really? God's not going to listen to, he listens to us, but he's not going to favor one side of the town over the other side of the town, or,
Right.
you know what I'm trying to say, right? Don't y'all feel the same way,
Yeah.
Ruthie?
Yeah, he loves everybody the same. I mean, he doesn't love one person more than he does the other, and he doesn't want anyone to be hurt in any way. But there's a lot of things that he leaves for us to do.
Right.
We can take care of our bodies and eat right and this type of stuff, or we can gorge and drink and do a lot of things that's bad for the body. And God doesn't do anything to stop us. He doesn't hit us with a 2x4 or something and say, hey, I want you to quit that.
Right.
That's not the way he is. He loves you and he wants you to do different, but he's going to leave it up to you whether you do or not. And that's the same way with anything. And so we can't blame God for any bad thing that happens.
Right. Exactly. Sometimes when we lose somebody in our family, we automatically get mad at God, but what do you think is going to happen to them? I mean, we're all going to die, and as sad as that sounds, you have to bring yourself to that realization.
Well, when you lose somebody and say like a child, that's hard. But when I lost my son, I thought God knows what's in the future. And he might have known something that would have been worse for our family than for my son to die. And that's the way I accepted it. So it made it so much easier, than just trying to figure out, well, now, why did God take him? He's only 26 years old. He had a lot of living to do. But I learned some other circumstances around in the neighborhood, and who knows? He might have gone to jail for murder at a time in the future if he had lived that long.
Right.
You need to think about things. Of course, I didn't think about that right at the time of the funeral and stuff. This was something I thought about later. But I thought, we need to look at that and not get upset because they're gone, because you don't know what was going to happen farther down the road that might affect them in an adverse way.
Yeah.
God does, but you don't.
That's true. I mean, that's very mature of you to feel that way.
Yeah. I was going to say that takes some maturity to for anybody to have a situation that they deal with that's emotional, that's hard, that, causes them pain, and to be able to try to look at a bigger picture, look at the fact that, God isn't interested in hurting them.
Right.
And that, yes, they lost a loved one, be it an automobile accident, cancer, or whatever, but what might have been, or, how is this going to help you or benefit you, even though it's hard to go through then, it's tough.
Yes, it is.
It is tough.
I can't imagine. I know I've been, or told him I was mad at him before, when loved one would, die or something happens. But, I've matured in that area too, somewhat.
Yeah.
And, but if we think about how ludicrous it is to think that he wants to hurt us, and I know that we get a lot of, we have a lot of baggage from our religious churchy days. We know the stories in the Old Testament and some in the New, that we can really imagine that God could be a certain way. He could strike back at me for I did something wrong and now he's, punishing me. That's not so hard to conceive when you read the stories in the Old Testament. And so, I give people the benefit of the doubt when they go through a crisis and they think God is doing this, trying to punish them. Or has anybody ever told you that, Kimberly? Like, God's punishing me and he took my husband, or,
Yeah, we're reading a book, The Farmer Boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's set in the 1800s, and as we were reading this, Rick and I both, we realized the father in the story, it's about the little boy. He loves his father, he respects his father, he's terrified of his father. Mm. And he's a, good father. And we said, we can see how these people would understand a wrathful God, because it's how they're living out their own lives.
Right.
And I've never thought that God was punishing me for something when closest person that I lost was my brother. Mm-hmm. But I was mad.
Right.
And I remember, this is stupid. I remember telling God, I'm never going to speak to you again.
Sure. That's not stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not stupid as you're going through it. That's what I'm saying.
But it reminds me now, that I have small children, they'll get mad at me and they'll say, I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
And not that I'm God, but I could see maybe from his perspective, you're hurting yourself a whole lot more than you're hurting me, and I wish you'd let me comfort you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's, so.
Yeah,
I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, it did.
Sometimes when children are really small and you do something they don't like, they'll say, I hate you.
Right.
Well, when my children did that, I said, that's okay, I love you too. And because you don't let that strike you and make you hurt you, because they don't know what hate means.
Right.
It's just something they've heard. They don't know what hate means.
Right.
So.
No, not till they get a little bit older.
Yeah, but I'm talking about your little children.
Yeah,
And I know most of us have had our kids tell us that. You wouldn't let them do something. I hate you. And they run off to their room or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I was thinking, Sandy, my neighbor, she had lost her sight in an automobile accident when she was like 17 or 18 years old. And she remembers a time in her adult life where she went to church with some friends, and they were praying for her and this, that, and the other, and telling her, now you're going to church and living for the Lord, and you ought to pray that He'll restore your sight. And
She didn't have eyeballs.
no, she doesn't even have eyeballs. How's He going to
my
restore
God.
sight? And she did. She was upset about it, because she's like, for one, she doesn't think of it anymore as, a disability, It's just the way it is, and she's moved on. But these people were treating it as if, because you'd sinned and you weren't in the church, and now you're in the church, and God will restore your sight, and type thing. And so that's what made me think of when you were talking about that, because there are people that go through things and they want to blame God and think that it is a punishment that He's dealt out, here, you've done this, so here, take this from you. And that is very much in line with
Yes.
what we'd been taught for years with the Old Testament theology, like Job, he's only serving you because he has this, this, and this, but if you took this and this away, or allowed me to take it away, he won't serve you anymore, that mindset.
Well, there are some terrible, terrible stories in the Old Testament that, when the children of Israel disobeyed God, then God would pour out His wrath on them. And so when you hear that, you're just conditioned, even though you don't say, I really, really, really believe that, but somewhere in the back of your mind, it's there just rattling around. And so it's not too far-fetched for us to believe, to believe before in the past that this could actually have happened. And so, that's why we're so adamant to let people know that God absolutely loves you. He's in love with you, adores you, and He would not do anything to hurt you. Now, things in life do hurt us. Yeah. And, we really bring that on ourselves, I would say 99% of the time, because of, I saw this one time, it says, life is the sum of all your choices. And that's really true, if you just sit there and think about it. And so, anywho, that's the soapbox for the day, I guess. Moving on to some little lighter things. Now, starting next week, for the month of December, what we're going to do is bring you something each week that you can make for somebody to give for Christmas, because a lot of times, and I say this every year, I want to make all my presents this, I want to make something for somebody, and then I just have these grand aspirations and they just never pan out. And so, but anyway, if I can't do it, I'm at least try to help somebody else do it. That sounds horrible, but anyway, maybe that's a step in the right direction.
Well, I will say that, a few years ago, I had was so busy with this, that, and the other going on before Christmas, and I'd really just felt like I was in this funk, this mood where I just, and wasn't feeling it. And then I was in, I guess, Dollar Tree or one of the dollar stores and saw these little glass bulbs that were empty. And I thought, I have some shredded foil paper. And, I went home and I stuffed them each, and then I got some glitter glue, and you guys probably all remember one, because I think y'all have one.
Yeah.
But I started making things, and it was just surprising how just that little step that I took to do something for somebody else did something for me. And I think that when I'm crafting, when I'm trying to, think about what somebody else might like, and, whether it be gift giving or making, if you really get outside of the busyness of it and just allow yourself that time, I think it helps you, And I suggested that to a friend this year, because she said, it's a lot of work and I do it for my kids, but I would almost wish it to be January 2nd. Let's move on, And I can understand getting in that situation and in that mindset, because it's easy to do. You just get so caught up with all the preparations, and my dad joked a few years ago, you spend, a month or better buying and wrapping and decorating, in 20 minutes it's all unwrapped and scattered all over the living room. So
that's just like a dad to say that, or a man. And the man didn't do nothing. And we spent 2 months working on this and sitting up.
How much did you wrap of that again?
That's right.
More going by.
Do nothing. Going to grab about it. Oh, that's bad, because I'm really doing what I don't like people to do to women. I'm talking about men that way. I'm sorry.
That isn't a women's show. No, I'm just kidding.
That's true. We'll all laugh about it, but it's the truth.
Yes.
That's their personality. You can't blame them for it.
Yeah, true.
Blame their mothers.
Okay.
Ooh.
It has to do with the way you raise your son.
But also sometimes it's, you get in the mode of I do it
Yeah.
myself, and you don't include them or
Right.
whether they choose to do it or not, or just telling them, hey, I need help in this situation,
Right.
Why don't you wrap these gifts, or why don't you clean up this so that I can wrap these gifts, or whatever. And sometimes it's on us as much as
Right.
it is their mama's.
Yeah, I know. I was only teasing when I said,
Yeah.
But
You got, there's some truth to that.
yeah, there is
There's
some truth.
There's some truth
But
to that.
all men don't turn out to be the kind of boys their mothers raised. When they become men, they sometimes don't do the way their mother was showing or teaching, and sometimes that's a good thing,
True.
because
Yeah.
sometimes mothers are confused and put out the wrong information, and then when the boy grows up and he's an adult, he can look and say, that's not the right way to do it, let's do it different, and that's good.
That is true. The relationship between the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law is just a precarious one.
What you
I
looking?
had the nicest mother-in-law. She was
too.
an angel. So
I love
Yeah.
my mother-in-laws.
Yeah, you have some good ones. Okay, Momo, she had something she wanted to talk about concerning service projects, and so does Kimberly. And so, Mo, you go first.
Well, with with Girl Scouting, we typically are, thought of as the cookies and the camping and the crafts. 3 C's of Girl Scouting. But Girl Scouting is supposed to be about, more than that. It's supposed to be about finding ways to do things for your community and for other people, and being a service organization. And part of every cookie season, they're supposed to give a certain donation of the cookies to an organization. A lot of times it's for the troops, or it's for you know, one year we did Ronald McDonald House for the families there, and this year we did Sacred Heart Children's Hospital and the military troops, because we had some booths that were on the military base, and those went to the troops that were deployed. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, as we draw close to this end of the year and this holiday season, you know, we're going to be doing some things with the Girl Scouts. One is that we are going to do Christmas cards for deployed troops. And that's something that anybody could do. It doesn't have to be a Girl Scout troop. Sure. A lot of your either colleges or local radio stations, or, you know, you can call around and do some research and find things. But I listed a few service project type ideas. A coat drive, new or gently used, to a women's, men's, or just a homeless shelter. A lot of people don't have, you know, like if a woman's been abused and she's in a women's shelter, sometimes they leave with just the clothes on their back. We've talked about that before. And so having something, or someone that's homeless, you know, they may have something, but it may be, you know, 5, 6 years old and holes in it, and you just never know. So a coat drive, you could organize it through neighborhood, through a school, through a church if you go to a church. Just any way, find a local Girl Scout troop and tell them you want to help them, you know, organize that. Christmas cards to military deployed or to homeless. I even thought, you know, it might be nice to fill out a bunch of Christmas cards and have them so that they could just say, you know, here, somebody is thinking of you this holiday season, you know. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm just trying to figure that one out. I mean, that's not so far-fetched, but...
I mean, it might bring a smile to someone's face. I mean, they're not going to necessarily have a place to put it up on the wall.
Or decorations.
Like a veterans hospital where they, you know, but we don't have one in this area. The closest one, I think, is Biloxi, and I'm not sure it's still open.
They opened a veterans hospital. I don't know if it has, or a veterans center on
that's just a clinic. It's not.
Clinic.
It's not like a hospital, but they had a VA hospital in Spokane, and two of the auxiliaries got together and took one room and had Christmas gifts in there, and the veterans in the hospital could go in and pick out 2 gifts for each member of their family, and it didn't cost anything, and they would wrap it for the members of the family. And of course, you've got to be in a good-sized town and have that, you know, to have that. True. But that is, you know, that's something Girl Scouts could do. Of course, we don't have a hospital here that I know of, but it's maybe they do in some other town where we're listening, and they could do that. So
good idea.
Canned food or prepackaged food drive, you know, your local food banks like Manna Food Bank in our area. There's always a need for it, but especially around the holiday seasons, you know, you have people who will probably spend more, you know, on Christmas gifts, or that just flat out don't have jobs, or, you know, whatever the issue may be. And you know, it's needed. New or gently used toys to children's shelters. Sometimes they prefer it just new, but I have seen gently used toys before that were taken at shelters. And I know one year I did this with a church that I went to. We gathered up gently used toys, and we took them, and we called around and found a school that was doing predominantly to single men that were raising their children. And they said, you know, it was wonderful that we had those, because they were donating food and clothes and things from the school. And then we called and we said we had toys. And they were just overjoyed, because they said, you know, a lot of times the men, they'll think of the things that they need food-wise or clothes-wise, but they're going to put that as a priority versus a toy in their hand. And so, you know, it was really neat that year to be able to be a part of that.
Right, and also the Marines do a good Toys for Tots drive.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They really do. So I think your local Walmarts, you know, just, I mean, for Pete's sake, go into Walmart and, you know, take $10 and spend it on a toy, and, you know, help a child have something for Christmas.
Right.
You know, kids they're not like us. We know that it's not about material things. You know, and we do want to teach our children it's not all about that. But I still think a child needs a toy at Christmas.
Yeah,
Right.
at least a toy.
Yeah, at least a
Yeah.
toy. I mean, all these, grandiose ideas about we're going to teach them this and that and that. For Pete's sake, let's get somebody a toy.
Yeah. And also nursing homes and
Yeah.
places of that nature, games, cards, puzzles, things to have in their activity room, or even just going and
Yeah.
with a group and singing a few Christmas songs or passing out like Christmas cards or passing out something that's made, at an organization, would be something that would, just brighten someone's day, because a lot of people in those facilities don't have regular visitors.
That's true.
You'd be surprised how many of them, just don't. When I was going in to see my aunt, and how many in the hallway would just say, "Hey, can you talk to me for a few minutes?" And I would try to always do that. But, it's just a lot of them don't. Or if they do, they don't remember, especially like dementia wards or, Alzheimer's wards. And so just find something to do. I challenge people out there to do that, and let us know what you've done, and we'll let you know when we come up with something, decide on something, what we're going to do, and, think of others this holiday season.
Yeah, there you go. It doesn't have to be so elaborate. I mean, it can be just simple. If you can be elaborate, be elaborate. If that's what you are, if that's your personality, or you have the means to be elaborate, I encourage you to be elaborate. But if you don't, I think everybody should be able to do something. If it's not, but only, I think highly of you and you're this, encourage somebody and let them know what you feel about them. And if you can just do that with your words, we can all do something, I think. What's the old Billy Ray Cyrus song? I know this doesn't really apply, but anyway, I want to say it anyway. It's like all gave some, but some gave all. So some people can do more than others, and I think everybody can do something. That's my point. All right, Kimberly, you have something interesting.
Yes, I have notes. So.
No, okay. Oh, that's even better.
I have notes. Or I will say something and it won't be the right thing.
It'll be funny.
No,
It'll be cute.
I had seen an article of a lady, her name was, sorry, I can't see around this microphone, Katie Ryan. She was a teacher at the University of West Virginia. She was teaching literature, and they're teaching about prison and literature. And it occurred to them that at that time, this was in 2004, that the prison system in the surrounding 6 states, the Appalachia area, did not have books available for the prisoners. Now, that would never have occurred to me. I would have thought that a library would be available to people in prison, because I don't know how they're going to stretch their minds and improve themselves if they don't have something there for them. But apparently there was nothing there, and they began the Appalachia Book Project to raise money and donate books to the prisons, which they said is incredibly difficult. The books have to be x-rayed. They have to be a certain type of book. They have to be wrapped in brown paper. She said it's harder to get the books into prison than it is to get something out of the prison.
Wow. Isn't that something?
But they went through all the red tape, cut through everything, and now they're able to provide books. And they're mostly educational books. There's some fiction. They get requests. She said they got a request for somebody wanting a Scrabble dictionary because they had a dispute going on. And then they've got a mother wanting a parenting book because when she gets out of prison, she wants to be a better mother. And it's just, I was so impressed with these people because it would never have occurred to me that wasn't available.
Right.
But,
I know your family loves to go to the library. Well, we all do. But can you imagine that you have that opportunity and, but these people don't?
yeah, that's just...
Right.
And they're in prison, yeah, but like your point was, how are they going to, overcome some things or gain knowledge about things going on in the world? And, to me, the more knowledgeable you are, about things, I think you can fit in better and you don't have to,
Right.
Be such an outcast, and you can understand how things operate and work, and you can just get along with people
Right.
more.
Well, when you educate
know.
somebody, you're going to build them up and lift them
Right,
up
give them
and
confidence.
help them to to like you said, have confidence and to reach for something more than if they're kept uneducated. And it's not really a correctional institution if it's not providing for trying to correct the behavior and bring about different behavior.
Right.
And so, the need for ways to educate the men and women that are in the facilities so that when they come out, they have a want and a desire for something more. Now that's not going to work for every single person. Some people are going to go in there and they're just going to, they don't want anything more, I mean, hey, I get free meals and board, but, we've met individuals that, have come out and they want to help others and they want to make a difference. And, they've been through harsh treatments, and, you just think if everyone could have a means of educating themselves or taking steps while they're in there so that when they get out that maybe they don't just fall right back into the system.
Right. Well, it's also a form of discipline too, to make yourself read, or to, what you read, to act on it and to better yourself. I mean, these are just positive steps, and it is horrible to think that they didn't have anything in the system. In 6 states, you said, in the
6
Appalachian states.
Yep.
Wow. That's Virginia. I mean, yeah, I guess. My husband always says that in our family, he's just joking though, but that if you ever want to hide anything, put it in a book, because nobody's going to open one up and look in it. You can put your paycheck in the book and nobody will steal it. That's funny. It's sad. Maybe it's true in some respects. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so we're all looking forward this year, this holiday season, that we're going to make sure that somebody else feels better than we do. And it's great to feel good, but we want to put the smile on somebody else's face, and that automatically puts it on your own face. Like you said about your ornaments that you made, it just, all of a sudden you started feeling good about doing for other people. And I know that when we counsel people and they're have a depression issue, we always say, hey, go out and do something for somebody else, because it's hard to be depressed while you're doing that. Now, there are many things that are different. You can have, what they call it, like caregiver burnout. I mean, those are different than being depressed, but you have to watch yourself too, that you don't, give everything you have away, and you've got to keep something for yourself to be recharged and to continue to help. And so you can help more people by taking care of yourself, physically and spiritually and emotionally, and that way you can help many more people. So that's our goal this year, is to try to do something for somebody else, put a smile on their face, and then have one come back on ours. So starting next week, we're going to show you how to make something, or show you something that we've made to you can make for somebody else that's inexpensive, that's nice, and you can give it as a present. So if you want to give, and everybody likes to give to people, so if you want to give something this year and you don't have a lot of money, we're going to help you out probably the first 3 weeks in December before Christmas gets here. And each week it'll be something that'll take a little bit longer, and then by the desperate time the week before, Sunday before,
quick and easy.
That's right, down and dirty, quick and easy. We'll show you something. So stay tuned for next week. It'll be our first thing. We'll show you a gift you can make for somebody, and also we will let you know of a service project that you can do for the week. You don't have to do just one. Come on, let's stretch out here this year. And we're looking forward to it, and we love y'all. And stay tuned for the rest of our shows today. We've got so many great ones. 3 o'clock is William Torres. 4 o'clock is T-Bog, The Beginnings of Greatness with Joey and Matthew. 5 o'clock, The Furloughs from Jasper, Texas. And then 6 o'clock, Greg Bray and Bob Graves. 7 o'clock is The Unconventional Pastor, Bob Graves. And 8 o'clock will be Dr. Jones and myself. Looking forward to a great day. See you next week.
Bye.